Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard and Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olson, the Tolkien Professor, joined as always by my friend Gryfflet, who has been sitting here staring longingly up towards the ruins on the hill, which he has been not yet seeing, but has been very much looking forward to ever since he saw that there were ruins up on the hill, because, of course, we haven't gotten a clear sense. It's one of the interesting things so far about Gondor, right? Everywhere Gryfflet has been, except I guess Lothlorien, has been a place where, there were clear stages, right? Historical stages evident in the landscape, like in Rohan, for instance, where we could see Gondorian ruins here and there, or even, as in Snowbourn, portions of the city itself, which showed that it was originally a Gondorian town or city, which then the Rohirric city grew up within, right? In and around the ruins of it. But in Gondor, of course, that's not been quite the case. We've seen some, haven't we seen some ruins? I think a little bit, but not much in the way of ruins, because what we're seeing here is itself ancient. There isn't the in the Dol Amroth area, for instance, there isn't exactly an earlier civilization whose evidence remains from here. It's not that it's impossible that there could be there could be some Númenórean ruins from this area, as presumably the Númenóreans, who certainly were all over this coast at one point, would have noticed that Dol Amroth was a good place for a harbor of ships, right? And presumably the Elvish harbor would also have been operating then as well. So anyway, one could see how there could be ruins. Of course, we've looked at the Elvish ruins down there in, I'm already forgetting. Up and at him, Gryfflet. Ethelwald, that's it. I forgot the name. Down there in Ethelwald. But what was going on around here? We're so used to seeing Gondorian ruins, or in the north, Arnorian ruins, right? The old societies, the old Númenórean societies of Gondor and Arnor have been the source of 80% of the ruins that we've seen. Some old Elvish stuff, like in Eregion, right? We get the ruins of the old Noldorin society of Celebrimbor there. But anyway, it's one of the things that I'm going to be very interested to see, and why Gryfflet has been so looking forward to seeing these ruins, is we're in Gondor now, right? Are we going to just be seeing Gondorian ruins in Gondor? That is to say, is all we're going to see, or are we going to see anything other than ruins of a once more expansive Gondor? There's reason to think that, right? We know that Gondor used to be bigger, used to be stronger, and has dwindled over time. So we may well see evidence of that, and I'll be interested to see how that is depicted. But do we get anything else? Are we actually going to anywhere see evidence of pre-Third Age Númenórean, pre-Elendil, pre-Isildur and Anarion occupation of this place, especially since we're down here near the coast, right? Because those are the only other ruins that I could think of. It's not that there wouldn't have ever have been any other civilizations here before, and that would be fascinating, wouldn't it? To see evidence of the pre-Gondorian native culture here, just the Middle-earth folks, not the Númenóreans coming in and building big works. Now, it's less likely that we'd see that, just statistically speaking, because we would, the Númenóreans built big stuff, and so it's more likely to survive as ruins thousands of years later, right? Whereas, if there were villages or even a small city here built by a more primitive society that didn't build huge big stone walls that survived, right? Maybe there was a town in the Second Age nearby which was a big and thriving town and had wooden palisade walls and wooden houses and everything, but we wouldn't still have ruins of that, right, 4,000 years later, where we could get ruins of a big, huge walled city with big stone walls 4,000 years later. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm saying 4,000 Drowsnake as an example of like the minimum amount of time, basically, that it would be to a Second Age civilization. It could well be something like 7,000 years before, for sure. Yeah. But and as far as the Númenórean constructions, those would be later Second Age if we saw them. That the further we get into the Second Age and the further advanced the Númenóreans become, both in technology and in their exploration, and of course in their wickedness, right? In their the more advanced they get in their colonial stance towards their imperial stance, I guess I should say, towards Middle Earth, the more likely we are to see stuff from them, evidence of stuff from them. So anyway, this is just to explain why I'm looking forward to it, and then we'll go do it and see what we find there. My prediction, I'm predicting, I think it's going to be I think the ruins are going to be of the more expansive Gondor. I think they're going to be Gondorian ruins, and that what we will be seeing there is evidence of the greater Gondor that was. That's by far the likeliest thing. But anyway, okay. So this is why Gryfflet has been so anticipating this moment. Going up to the roads. Oh, and of course to rescue Jajax, because that's important too. Yeah. Amarvorn, probably. Anyway, yeah, the old elven town nearby, it is a game thing in the one sense. It's a lore thing in concept. That is, we know that there were elvish havens here. That's mentioned several times in the book. That from whence the elves of Lorien set sail, for instance. We're told that that's definitely a thing. Am I going the right way? No. Yes. What? Search for Abedec is where I'm going. Yes, I think so. Oh, and the other one's the beacon. Okay, right, yeah, the beacon from the... oh, that's a beacon. Okay, that's not just something on fire. That's an actual beacon there, too. Okay. Sorry, just getting my bearings, making sure I'm riding in the right direction. I'm talking and riding. And whenever I'm talking, there's always a chance that, like, I'm just going in entirely the wrong direction or something like that. But anyway, Amarvorn, yes. So we know that there were elf havens here, and that they are in this area, right? The whole story, the name of the of that place, hang on a second. What's up here? Oh, I bet it's the road up to the beacon, yeah? Yeah, there's a beacon right there. Or is that a beacon? No, that's a ruin. It's just a ruin on fire. What is going on here? Okay, hang on a second. But I think from here I'm right. Really look like Gondorian ruins. I think I'm right in my theory. Right. It is functioning as a beacon now. You'd think, like, would that just serve to confuse them more, do you think? Right? I mean, if you set things on fire, it's going to cause alarm, but if you set a tower on fire... Oh, yeah, oh my god, that's as Gondorian as the day is long. Look at that. Okay. Really interesting. And then, what is this? Is this a bridge to nowhere? Where are we? Oh, I see. No, there's a little inlet there. And a bridge over the inlet. Okay. Okay. Oh, look at this huge bridge. I'm going to jump off the bridge. I'm just looking at over the edge here. Okay. All right. Okay, well, let me go. Hang on. I better get out of the way before there's going to be a huge turtle deer fight there, and I don't want to be in the way. Yeah, but if you set a tower on fire, people are like, "Oh, it took the other beacons are lit," right? Okay, hang on. So where was that road again? I'll find that road, and then we'll head up. There it is. Okay. All right. Totally Gondorian. So what does that tell us? That in the old days of the heights of Gondorian power, in addition to Dol Amroth, which clearly is as old as that, right? I mean, it's not like Dol Amroth is some kind of newfangled city. We know it's quite old. We know this from Unfinished Tales, where... aha. Okay. Time to dismount and get burglarious. Yeah, anyway, so we know it's old. Dol Amroth, the city, right? So Gondor also built a fortress on the hills. I mean, this is a fortress, like, clearly. A walled fortress on the hills. Why is there a walled fortress on the hills? Well, it's clearly an insufficiently spiky walled fortress for the Corsairs' taste. Also, one would think, again, drab. What do we have here? Yeah, see, look at the Númenórean stars. Look at that. Go look at that. I mean, this is classic. Classic Númenórean portcullis here, right? Portcullis in the classic Númenórean style with all those downward pointed stars aligned with the vertical bars. And I bet you if we get through here on this side, no, you can't see them that much. Don't they look like some of them are upside down? That is, some of those stars look like they're upward pointing stars. It's hard to tell because of the vertical bars, but oh, look at this. We got all these kinds of... All right, we got... what's going on here? All right. Corsairs at Abedec's watch have taken to looting the old Gondorian ruins here. Hey, can we call it or what? Stealing many ancient relics. Well, I was here looking for historical evidence and ancient relics, so I object. Leave them in situ for better observation. Warhounds and their Corsair handlers prowl throughout Abedec's watch. You should battle the Warhounds. Okay. Yikes. Evil Warhounds? I have to, like, assess their moral character before I attack them? Man, okay, look. Wearing, like, bright blue and bright orange together, for instance, is, like, totally cool from a Corsair perspective. But wearing a dark red turban and a, like, dusty brown, like a dusty rose, pantaloons and sarong trim there is just, it's tacky. Especially with all the drab in between. No wonder they put you on like outlook duty way out here. And then you. Oh, man. You just like, he's barely even trying. I mean, his cummerbund is okay, but... Okay, I'm reclaiming relics all over the place. Okay, Gryfflet. Do a better job of stealth here. Come on now. I mean, we do need to kill some, but still. Okay, I'm searching for Jajax. I'm not forgetting. That's what I'm here for. Okay, we have... Stable Master? These Corsair horses? Do Corsairs have horses? They stole these horses, clearly, right? Hey, horses. Want to make a break for it? I'll cover you. Is that horse pink? And if so, why? I don't understand. Maybe there are pink horses. I don't... see, look, now this guy. See, there must be a hierarchy the further in from the gate you go, because this dude... Oh, and the purple vest. Yes, with the blue and the dusty rose seed. Yeah, these guys. Yeah, I mean, you could have done better with a more color. Okay, put a bright green turban on top of that, and your ensemble would have been just smashing. But, yeah. Okay. With the Paisley pavilions. Okay. You know it's a real Corsair outpost. Okay, so we've got these, like, sort of slag hills going on. Okay, so this was just a keep. Yeah. We got some watchtowers up on that little hill there and the walls leading up to it. So this was... Do you think this... Okay. All right. I have a theory. Look where we are. It's so far away. But, I mean, from Dol Amroth. I mean, it's not right next to Dol Amroth. But that's okay. Okay, here's my theory. I think that this Gondorian ruin dates from the times of the Kinstrife. Back in the old, the battled, what's his name days. You know, what's his name? Castamere. Yeah, the Castamere days. The wars with Umbar. Because obviously Dol Amroth, as is apparent from current events, Dol Amroth is kind of easily in the crosshairs of the Corsairs of Umbar, right? If we look at where we're... okay, right, so we can't really see very well, but anyway, so Umbar is down here at the very southern edge of the map down here, and so they're going to be coming, and they're, sea folks, they're, piratical. So they're going to be coming up. I mean, you see where Dol Amroth is right here on that little spit sticking out, right? So it's a major coastal city, obviously. Pelargir, which is down here, is also a major target. But Pelargir and Dol Amroth are going to be the two focal points of assault by the Corsairs of Umbar. So I think that this is from back in the times of the heaviest wars with Umbar. They built this keep as a refuge. This is like my theory is that this is like the Dun Harrow of Dol Amroth, because Dol Amroth is a beautiful city, and it's a strong city, but it's exposed. I mean, just look at it. Like, you can, if you're coming at it from the sea, you can land, as we've seen down here where the Corsair camp is down on the south of this little spit of land. You can land a whole bunch of different places from different angles, right? You can come in and attack the harbors like they are, though nobody in the town is noticing, because in Dol Amroth we're way too cool to admit that we're being attacked by Corsairs. But nevertheless, the point is, the Corsairs can come at them from a whole bunch of different directions, right? Dol Amroth is not the most defensive. It's not the easiest to defend of cities, and so what we're seeing here in these ruins on the hill is just a keep. It's just a defensive fortification. It's a pretty big one, but it's not like a separate city. This doesn't seem to me like a separate city. This seems like a defensive fortification that's attached to Dol Amroth. So my thought is that it's a place of escape, right? Sorry, Drow Snake. There I am spreading rumors again, right? It's so true. It's so true. Anyway, yeah, that's just exactly what is. I think that's what's happening here, or did happen here a millennium ago. But okay, what are those guys over there doing? And why is that guy on the left doing it? He seems to have nice, bright clothes. I like this guy. The pink headband is really what does it, man. Really pulls together that ensemble. Love it. Love it. What is this guy? What is this guy wearing? A white wife beater? Hang on. What is happening here? Okay. Yeah, basically. But I like the magenta turban, man. And I've always liked that purple and orange, you know, sarong combination there. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Where are we? What are we doing? I guess I should do quests. Anyway, that's all I got for theories. I don't see anything else characteristic. The main thing is just strong defensive fortifications. That's the main theme here. Okay. Let's see. Huh? I just love the little, like, porticos that they establish with these little fringes on their tents. So cute. I can't get in here. Oh, I can. Here I am, inside the tent. Why do they have holes in the top? I mean, it's useful for fire, but only if you build, like, smoke, but only if you build a fire right under it, which you wouldn't with this post. I mean, I can see the stars through there. What if it rains? Oh my goodness, I had no idea these paisley tents were so impractical. The little paisley lean-tos are much more practical. For sure. What? Oh. Spotted again? By 2 archers? That's obnoxious. Okay. I guess I found a bunch of Gondorian relics, and I kind of wanted to loot that backpack anyway, but I was going to be restrained. I was showing restraint. Okay, so what do I still have to... I got 3 more Gondorian relics. I haven't defeated a single Houndmaster or Warhound. Oh, that suggests there's a whole other sector of the ruins I've not seen yet. That's cool. These guys are searching through the ruins up there, presumably for relics of some sort or other. Oh, wait. Barrel of powder. Okay. Hang on. What are you doing there with the black powder, dude? I don't know, but I don't think I can allow you to continue whatever you're doing. All right, let's use it and back away. No. Oh, come on, that was disappointing. That little foot is all that happens there. Just like, foot. It just kind of, I don't know. Disappointed. I was hoping to set it off and run off and then have the whole tent blow. Right? Blow that paisley pavilion sky high. Okay, yeah, we don't want to, they was pretty sinister. Whoa. As soon as I said I was going to destroy... Oh, okay, I just did, because it was slow acting, I suppose. Slow acting, okay. Oh, wait, you guys are talking about the maps? Hang on a second. Where's the Stable Master map? I always forget. How do I find that? Is that in collections? Whoa, okay, so there's my pets, of which I have very few. Mounts, of which I have very few. Where's the... Oh, I see, right, so this is what you guys are talking about. The reason that people think that Harad is where we're going next in the game is that there's all this space on the Stable Master map. Right. Oh! I feel I never knew that. I just click this and look at that. I never knew that's what that was for. I never noticed that. Okay. Anyway, oh look, some friends. Look at... Can you tell when Gryfflet became a completionist? Right? Oh, look, it's the new Trollshaw's area that he's never been to. Why does Gryfflet not have the Rivendell stables? He totally has been to Rivendell. And all this Trollshaw stuff. Thorinhad. Why does Gryfflet not have credit for those stable masters? They redo them? They reset them all? They reset them! Oh, man, oh, man. Wow. Ouch. New routes, yeah. Okay. Okay. I guess that's the consequence of this. What is it? Tornhad. Gwingris. Oh. Oh, where we got? What? What is it? Lumrin. That's new. Yeah, I had Kandalath, so there's the edge of the old Trollshaws, and there's the angle. Neat. Sorry, I'm now like totally digressing, but Gryfflet totally did not miss those Mirkwood things, did he? Hard to believe, but he was not fully. He was not fully completionist by then. I know I did not miss any Dunland. You can't tell me. Midsummer and Minas Tirith he's already got. Okay, anyway, sorry. Distracted. I love maps. And all those Gundabad things. What? Now someone's attacking? Oh, that guy regened. Oops. What's going on? I can't target not in line of sight. But that pole was coming between us. Let us not let a support pole come between us, my Corsair friend. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's go into the next sector over here. Okay, so here we have an internal... I wish we got a closer up map. So this is the outer ward that we were in. And then we come through into this... Oh, we've got some decorative bodies and statues there. But then we come through this gate in this quite thick wall. All right, into this inner ward. We got 2 inner wards. See, this place is quite large. I got a barrel of powder. No, I don't. It's like somebody just blew up the barrel of powder. Corsairs. I gotta let things regen here, I guess. Couple of wooden chests. Don't little Corsair enclaves like this just look so cheerful? They really do. Okay, there's this scrap of wall that I saw from below. Okay, let's see. What's our vantage from here? We're looking... Okay. Yeah, there's the city, but you see how far we are from town. It's not just... This is not just like, you know, supporting Dol Amroth exactly. It's... And again, it doesn't look at all like a city. It's really just a fortress. Okay, alright, that's where I came in. That's the stables over there. Okay, alright. I'm seeing the lay of the land here. Okay. The barrel of powder is invisible. That's pretty sinister, I gotta say. Oh well. Sorry, I was hoping to see if I could blow it up before I was interrupted. But unfortunately, I got interrupted. Okay, looks like I've killed enough Corsairs. I've reclaimed several relics. Okay, great. Boom! Ah, see, that was better. That was better. That other one was bizarrely slow acting, but that was a much better effect. Okay, let's see. Apukshik, yeah, I do not believe that Tom Shippey ever played LOTRO as far as I know. There are the primary other, you know, Tolkien scholar that I know who played LOTRO, of course, was Mike Drought. He hasn't been able to play very much in a long time, but you know, Drought is obviously a friend of LOTRO. Okay, I think somebody just recently cleaned this out, so if there were dogs in here, I don't have them anymore. I gotta wait for them all to regen. Shouldn't take that long. Another invisible barrel of powder. Okay. Oh, there we are. They're starting to come back now. Okay, got some hound keepers. Oh, look, the evil warhound is labeled. I mean, like, his evilness is writ in plain letters above his head. So that's nice. And the hound keeper is like, no, my dog. But he was an evil dog. Don't know if I believe. Oh, looks like there's a dog stuck in the tent. Oh no! Hey puppy, you stuck in the tent? Can I help? Where'd he go? Oh man, there he is. Hi. There we go. Now you got it sorted. Okay. You think they should name an NPC after me, and they should call him Barriadir, right? Oh, see, that's just rude, you people who came through here before. Rude. You should be ashamed of yourself, not looting the whole backpack. That is a scurvy thing to do. Oh man, they spotted me. Okay. We're doing great on the evil war. So I gotta find 5 sets of those somewhere around. Okay. And anyway, meanwhile, in this 3rd ward of the fortress, still very little evidence of buildings other than the ones just kind of built into the walls there. So again, like no like, this is not even a walled town, just a, oh hey, look at this big tent. What do we have going on in here? Oh, well, come on guys, I was just wanting to explore. And of course I was gonna check and make sure Jajax wasn't in here too, but oh, some barrels of powder in here, huh? Invisible still. But at least, maybe the invisible ones, yeah, maybe the visible ones blow up better. It was the visible one that was disappointing in the end. they're gonna do the they're gonna do what? They're gonna make a walking tree in Gryfflet's honor. Oh man, yeah, that's it's harsh, man. Gryfflet was level 7 or something at the time. Okay, let's see. Whom do I want to ambush? I think I'm going to ambush the Keeper. $48,000 damage. Boy, that is not messing around. Okay. Oh, no, that's a wrong kind of thing. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, better resume stealth. So now here we have this strangely out-jutting wall, which then comes in, and there's a set of doors, right? So here we have a hall in here, and a fourth ward, though there isn't a gate in between them, so it's not a very defensible gap. I'll see, this guy's got it together. Look at this. The orange and purple pantaloon sarong set, a hot pink cummerbund, and a magenta turban, with the maroon turtle shoulder pads, and a spotted blue wife beater. This guy really... This is the full Corsair package right here. He doesn't have any of that, like, lurid green, but, so, I mean, you know, in some ways, I'm not saying it can't be improved upon, but boy, oh boy, this guy knows how to dress. Okay, so, where are we? Oh, we got stairs up. There's more. Hang on, did I miss any, well, I mean, they probably will reset, but I think I killed all of the hound sets that were down here, and I'm still... Hey, yeah, see, there's another one up here. I'm going to do the same thing again. But, oh, we turned around just in time. Okay. So I think I just, yeah, one more set of hounds. Another invisible barrel of powder. How did I spot the first one? Oh, sorry. Horse, run! Unless it's a fireproof horse. It is! Wow. Fireproof horse. That horse is just like, yeah, whatever. Explosions next to my... I'm eating over here. Don't bother me. Okay, I still got 2 more sinister-looking barrels. The irony of calling the barrels sinister-looking when they're invisible. And what's sinister is that you can't look at them at all. That's the sinister part. Okay, and there we go with the barrels. Finished with that. By the way, what level are the Corsairs? 98. Yeah, I'm still 4 levels up, so that's fine. I could probably gain another level and be 5 up, but I think 4. I'm comfortable with 4. When the mobs start getting up to 99 and 100, I'll start leveling again. Okay. All right, so, oh, we're looking out here. Yeah, that's a good idea, sir. Mr. Corsair, with the orange turban. Okay, yeah, but look, I can't get behind the drab vest. The open vest, it's better than, like, the saggy wife-beater look. You know, the like, I am showing my manly chest hairs. Okay, I think I need a... Oh, nice. I can balance right on the edge of this wall. Fantastic. Okay, so there's the bridge goes, and there's a lighthouse. A nice Gondorian lighthouse. There's something down there. I gotta go check. Hopefully I get a quest in that direction. If not, I'll go explore. Oh my goodness, look at that bridge. That's a very impressive bridge. Holy cow. Talk about the majesty of Gondor that was. Yikes, that bridge is impressive. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a commanding location and a strong fortress with many segments to it. Okay, there's the fireproof horse. And this looks like the big tent. Oh, that's the entrance to the homesteads down there? Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm searching the ruins, and there's another set of hounds I still gotta find. I mean, I can get some on the way out, I reckon. But I didn't see any. Unless there's another set in the tent. Hey, Jajax, there he is. Lashed to the mast. Okay. Alright, hang on, Jajax. I'm just going to get this chest over here. I'm getting flashbacks. The inside of this tent is giving me flashbacks. What am I getting flashbacks to? I'm getting flashbacks to a really long instance battle inside a tent in Dunland. Remember that? I think it's Dunland. Maybe it's Enidwaith. That's what I'm getting flashbacks to. Okay, Jajax. Every other brigand tent in the game? No. No, there's a very specific thing. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that's what I'm thinking of. All right, let's see.
Bothering me?
It's too late for me, but run. Who's coming? Oh, but you're going to give me earrings before I go. That's kind. Oh, let's see. Agility earrings. And that's a nice step up. I'll upgrade my Stone Deans ones. Hang on. Yeah. Nice. Okay. What, were you expecting someone? Hang on, Jajax. Look at these hangings over here. Are these like stonewashed? What's the story there? Are they just faded, or is that a complicated dye job? So we got these purple, bluish purple. It's just fascinating color scheme there. The kind of bluish purple look with the bright red, ribbon holding them back. Yeah, I think it was one of the buildings, but it was I don't. Is it somebody tied to a pole in the middle that is giving me flashbacks to that? The instance where the Brennans of Llanwch are dealing with a guy from Isengard. That might be it, Drowsnake. That might be what I'm thinking of. But I remember there being like 4 or 5 waves of bad guys coming in and it being kind of horrible. Okay. He's coming. He is coming. Do not tarry here any longer. He is coming for my head, and he will take yours too. Jajax seems afraid for the first time since you've known the bold and unusual Corsair. You should free him from his bonds at once and make your escape. Note, this quest will fail on defeat. Oh, man. Okay. I'm gonna... Wait, I'm not highlighted on the right thing. Okay, I've got to highlight the bonds. You do not deserve to die here in this way. The terrible presence of Abedec has appeared. You've gone soft. I feel like I'm missing dialogue here. We're just at an awkward stare off. What's scary about him? How is this dude scary? Oh, okay, started running away. I mean, he is wearing magenta pantaloons, so that means you're serious. When you do... Oh, look, Jajax freed himself, and now he's going to come in and punch him in the face. Okay. Okay, this guy is a relatively serious dude. Oh, but you didn't expect to get stunned by Gryfflet. Oh, no. Yes, I have. Defeated him. Last of the vengeful Corsair captains. So there are other Corsair captains, but the vengeful ones are taken care of. Right? Yeah. Yeah, Phil, like, when I read that about, like, feeling the ominous presence, I totally turned around to expect that he'd been wraithified or something, right? Like that there was some kind of but no, I mean, he was, you know, it looks like he, like, oiled his beard, and he was wearing magenta pantaloons, but apart from that,
what is this world coming to?
We've done it, Gryfflet. The last captain has been defeated, and we are free to do as we will without being hunted. I suppose you'll go back to your silly heroic ways, and I'll go back to my mischief. But I will never forget the burglar who bested my men at drinking and avenged them in death. Go well. May the seas take you gently to the shore on which you find your rest. Okay. Well, Jajax, good to see you. Hope to run into you again. You know, stay out of trouble and stuff. And meanwhile, I gotta find a couple more hounds. Apparently. Is this guy... I thought this guy was wearing a... No, he's not. I thought he was wearing a cape. It was just a tent behind him at that angle. Okay. Oh, here they are. They just hadn't regened yet. Okay, there we go. Defeated the evil warhounds prowling with their masters. Oh, look, it's a senior Corsair. Do you get a belt across your chest at a certain age, or it is stretchy mail on their like attached to the front of their sarongs there. Okay. So I think that's it. Tell Lothario of all that transpired. Okay, maybe I will go and do the beacons then. Maybe I'll go do the beacons while I'm out, and then that way... Oh, no, hang on, I gotta take a right down into the first ward. Okay. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right, yeah, so I'm gonna go... do the epic quest. Put on my invisibility hat, and off we go to the beacons. All right, hang on. Before I do this, let us get a lore question, since I have to travel up to the beacon. And I've seen it before, so I don't, you know, it'll be fine. Let's see. Let's see. Questions. Okay. Okay, Drowsnake, let me address your question here. Okay, did your question from like several weeks ago, but I've still got it here. Phil does a wonderful job of keeping my lore questions queued up here so I can come back to them. Okay, so Drowsnake, you had asked previously, in Unfinished Tales, Isildur builds a tomb for Elendil and Halafirion, but in LOTRO, the tomb of Elendil is in Innuminous. Is this an intentional lore change by the LOTRO developers, or can they not include the Halafirion tomb since they don't have rights to Unfinished Tales? Or is one of the tombs meant to be more of a memorial, not actually containing a body? Great question. Okay, so it is true that the tomb of Elendil on Halafirion is only mentioned in Unfinished Tales, and so they would not be able to adapt that text directly, and they see now. Hang on, let me just finish that sentence, and then I'm going to say some things about rights in general. But so they do have to be careful, and the LOTRO folks are pretty careful about that. So as you remember, I'm pretty sure that I'm remembering we can't get to Halafirion. Halafirion is off the map, right? And I'm wondering if they left Halafirion off the map so that we wouldn't be tempted they wouldn't be tempted to make it, because it's technically not, they have the rights to The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. They don't have the rights to Unfinished Tales or those other things. And so the things that are just in those are not... the things that are just in Unfinished Tales and not at all in The Lord of the Rings they're not allowed to go there. Now, here is my comment on rights. Keep in mind, I am not speaking as a representative of Standing Stone here. I do not work for Standing Stone, so I'm not making any claims. I'm only talking about how rights tend to work, and that is. Carry-On is having some troubles here. Okay. You're not allowed to take things directly from Unfinished Tales, but it's not like you have to pretend you've never read Unfinished Tales, if your depiction of something or someone or of an incident is influenced by your reading of Unfinished Tales, so long as you're not quoting from the text, or there's some latitude that they give. The Tolkien estate in general, and their kind of creative overseers, have a kind of a bad rap, in my opinion. And I'm not saying it's 100% undeserved, but it's not 100% accurate either. In my direct and indirect experience, by indirect meaning my observations of what I'm seeing in other companies' adaptations of it, and my direct interactions with them, both through talking about my podcast and through work that I did with the Amazon MMO before it was tragically shut down. I think that the evidence shows that they're actually pretty good to work with, and they're not crazy. They're not looking for excuses to stop you talking about things or something like that. If you are, doing good things within the spirit of Tolkien's work, they'll usually let you go. Names get tricky, right? When you start making specific references to stuff that's only alluded to in Unfinished Tales, that's where it gets dodgy. But again, so let me give an example. From within LOTRO, right? The Battle of the Fords of Isen, right? The death of Theodred, that whole series of instances and such that we did. It's, again, I'm not like reviewing insider things. I don't work for Standing Stone, but just as an observer, right? Just looking at that, watching that story from the outside and playing through it and looking at it as we did, I would argue you can plainly see Unfinished Tales references there, right? Like that story was plainly a story that was designed by somebody who had read Unfinished Tales, right? Because of course the tactical situation, both the strategic and the tactical situation at the Fords of Isen, is discussed at length in that chapter of Unfinished Tales, the Fords of Isen chapter. So on the one hand, you can say, look, that's clearly influenced. That's them clearly working with Unfinished Tales. Then they don't technically have the right to adapt Unfinished Tales. But they're like, the events that they're describing are events that are alluded to in the Lord of the Rings, right? It's part of the Lord of the Rings story. But again, it's clear that when the choices that they made in depicting the details of that show evidence of influence. They didn't just take it directly. Had they done it like essentially sort of word for word, right? Had they done it exactly blow by blow, precisely as it's described in Unfinished Tales, maybe there would have been an issue, right? And they didn't do that. They varied from it in some ways. But as I say, you can tell that, when they designed the Fords of Isen sequence, that they had read that chapter in Unfinished Tales, right? It's the influence there is clear, and that's fine. That's in that example and in many other similar kinds of examples, you can do that kind of thing. You can. You don't have to pretend it doesn't exist, right? So that's I've now forgotten. Oh yeah, Drasnik was your question that led to this. So back to the Halathirion then. The Tomb of Elendil on Halathirion, that's only an Unfinished. So if we didn't have Unfinished Tales, we wouldn't have the faintest idea that the Tomb of Elendil, that Elendil himself was actually buried on Halathirion, right? I think that's probably a step too far. There's any depiction of a Tomb of Elendil on Halathirion would just be a straight up adaptation of Unfinished Tales. There's no two ways about that, right? It's not just a question of like this description of an event which we're told in The Lord of the Rings takes place was influenced by its discussion, or its description in Unfinished Tales. It's not that wouldn't be that situation, right? This would be a straight up, we're doing this Unfinished Tales thing. And so I don't think that it's possible for them to do that. But Drasnik, remind me. So let's take a step back, and I'll answer the rest of your question, having kind of addressed the rights angle, right, of that question. We'll now come to the annuminous part of your question. Then JJ, I'll follow up with answering your question there, your rights question. I will return, there.
But there is something I must tell you first. We are under attack.
What? Did Nethros just have the gaucherie to say that we're under attack? Hang on. I want to do that again.
I will return, but there is something I must tell you first. We are under attack.
He did. Seriously, it's like farting in church or something. Like, you don't say that around here. We're still close enough to Dol Amroth that, we're following strictly the policy of ignoring the Corsairs out of existence. Nethros. I think Nethros must be a very low-ranking Swan Knight on account of, first of all, he's not even named Barriadir, but secondly, those kind of social graces, you say that Lotharios commanded my return to the city. I will return, but there is... So, right, you've interrupted me during a brief lull in the battle, my timely new friend. I routed a group of Corsair raiders, but they are certain to return. Okay. Oh, sure, now you're going to try to make me acknowledge it. Oh, I love how they just all ignore the Swan Knight and head straight for Gryfflet. I'm honored. I really am flattered by that. But okay, Dressnake, while we're fighting... Boy, that guy really was stubborn. While we're fighting a couple waves of Corsair raiders, all of whom... Nethros is a terrible tank. All of whom are heading straight for Gryfflet. So the Innuminous portion, Dressnake, of your question. They, meaning Standing Stone, right? Standing Stone creates... Bye, Nethros. Now, when you get back to town, don't mention the attack, for crying out loud. You're going to be ostracized, and you're going to be the disgrace of the Swan Knights. Anyway, okay, so I'll just gotta cut through town this way. Nope. Wagon, door, wall, God! Whoa, what's going on? Back to the wagon. Okay, whew, yikes, that was frightening. Okay, Innuminous. So, of course, they put it... Oh, dear. Uh-oh, Gryfflet's having issues. Come on, Gryfflet, you can do it. Come on, Internet. Here we go. Alright, well, we'll make slow progress towards the beacon. If you guys can still hear me, I can... This will give me ample opportunity, Drosnake, to answer your question. As Carrion is proceeding in very delicate stages towards the next beacon. Okay. Come on now. You can do it. Oh, this is ridiculous. Huh. Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do here. As long as you guys can still hear me, I'll still talk. So, what I was talking about, Innuminous. In the game, they put a Tomb of Elendil in Innuminous. Did they do this just because they knew they couldn't do the Halathirian tomb? Possibly. Possibly they did, as an alternative. Does it make sense within the game world, like within a Middle-earth context? Does it make sense to have an Innuminous tomb? Yeah, it absolutely does. Elendil himself is buried in Halathirian. That makes all kinds of sense, right? I mean, it makes all kinds of sense because he did not... I mean, to transport his body... Wow! That was the biggest rubber band ever. I rubber banded all the way back to Ostlondir. Holy cow. That's remarkable. I just rubber banded like 5 miles. Whoa. Whew. Okay. Well, we're back to normal now. That was super weird. Okay. Bizarre. Anyway, so the point is, they would have had to transport his body a long ways back. Now, they could have done that. They could have, like, interred him in a nice... not interred him, but they could have, like, put him in a nice coffin and transported his coffin slowly back to Innuminous. Right? I'm not saying it's impossible. But he died a very long way from home. And that Isildur had built a tomb there more locally makes all kinds of sense. But it also makes all kinds of sense that they would want a tomb for him. When, those who return, and Valandil is made king in Innuminous. would he build, you know, like a, so yes, that it would be more like a memorial. Yes. That it would still be called the Tomb of Elendil in game makes sense. First of all, because there's no other Tomb of Elendil they can do in the game, and secondly, because it's among the rest of the tombs of the kings, right there. So you know, they're not going to be like the memorial for Elendil and the other tombs of Elendil. JJ, I like that idea. Maybe the one in Innuminous is his summer tomb. Yeah, it's the really great High Kings had both a sort of a main tomb and a tomb for the summer months. Yeah, like your house in the country. It's exactly like that. Yeah. Exactly. Now, JJ, to your rights question. Your rights question was... Hang on a second. We're still going the right way, right? Yes, we are. Okay, just about there. What was your rights question? Your rights question was... I want to get how you worded it there. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. Would it be possible, in theory, for them to give permission to use something without technically granting the rights to it, or are those more or less synonyms? Okay. Great questions. So, now again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a specialist in this thing. All I know about it is just, again, from like both making careful observations about things like LOTRO, and also, again, I've done some work with it. I haven't myself corresponded with the lawyers about this, but I've been, you know, part of a creative team who was working with lawyers on this kind of thing. And the main thing I would say, the difference, if there's a difference, JJ, between rights and permissions, it's the difference between that which you explicitly have free rights to do, you know, not whatever you want with, because they have to approve it. But anyway, you've got like open license to deal with it, right? And that which is not explicitly part of your license, but which they might not, you know, like rebuke you for doing. You could say, in a sense, is this where I'm supposed to be? Yeah, it is. But hang on, the quest ring is down there. Is there a Swan Knight hiding? Barry, dear, is that you? Did I miss the quest spot in the... Oh, there he is. Heladir? What kind of a name is Heladir?
I will return, but know this. I think a foe hides atop the hill of the beacon.
Shh. Don't mention it. If you have a taste for adventure, you might travel up the hill to scout the beacon. I was just atop the hill, but saw no one, though I felt a watching presence. I think someone might be up there now, hiding. Okay, they weren't very well hidden that I just saw. If you climb the hill now, but quietly, you might surprise the hidden villain. Okay, I'm good at that. I'll search for the mysterious villain. I've got to... I can't climb up there. I gotta go all the way around. Wow. Alright, okay. Anyway, so do you see what I mean? Like, again, the Fords of Eisen are a great example, right? Do they have the rights to the Unfinished Tales depiction of the Fords of Eisen? No. Did they, like, essentially get permission? Or, like, did they not get, you know, were they influenced? Okay, the Corsair leader. Were they influenced by Unfinished Tales? Yes. Like, did they show that influence? Yeah, sure. They definitely did. Did they cross the line such that, you know, they got in trouble? No, they did not. Right? estate lawyers were fine. Well, there he is. The state lawyers were... Oh, come on. So much more tedious when I don't surprise you. Gryfflet is not having a great stealth day. I mean, he's had worse stealth days, but he's not really covering himself in glory here. Anyway, like I said, so the Tolkien estate approved what they did, right? So, JJ, that's the only sense in which... that's the only sense in which the... Why did I come here? They're all doubting their existence now. What am I even doing? What? Yeah, love it. Find Rovalang? No way! Good old Rovalang. Okay, I know how to get to Rovalang. I'm not riding. It's my floating map. Okay, so that's my understanding of like one way to think about rights and how rights work, even if they've not been granted rights. If there's still leniency, right, in how that's being interpreted, and if you don't like flagrantly step over the line, again, my experience with the Tolkien creative people, both the Tolkien Enterprises creative folks and the Tolkien Estate creative folks, like they're not unreasonable. They're willing to work with folks who are being, you know, respectful and well behaved. So you can do that. Yeah. So Phil, this coming back to the Amazon Rings of Power thing, you know, I've been kind of teasing them in a sense. They've been all up and down saying we only have the rights to the appendices. Everything in the show is straight from the appendices. That's absurd. And I keep saying it's absurd. What I mean by that is manifestly there are things, lots of things that we've seen already. Of the small number of things that have been released already, there are many things that are just from Unfinished Tales. Like the map of Numenor, for crying out, the map of Numenor and all of the names in Numenor. That's only in Unfinished Tales. Nowhere else. It's not even in the Silmarillion. So it's absolutely impossible to derive the map of Numenor from... So like the very first thing that was released, the very first piece of publicity done for the Rings of Power show was straight out of Unfinished Tales, right? Anyway, so that's why I was saying before they started talking about it in public, why I was saying, well, obviously they have the rights to Unfinished Tales. If they're telling me they don't, look, I mean, I'm not actually like accusing them of lying. I'm like kind of teasing them about it. But I'm not actually accusing them of lying. If that's what they say they have the rights to, okay, that's what they have the rights to. But the reason I've stopped talking about the rights is that it obviously doesn't matter. The sense that I get is that at the very least, again, I have no idea what the terms of their rights are, but it's very clear that at the very least, the sort of leniency of the application of that. Think of the example there of the Tomb of Illuminus, the Tomb of Elendil, right? You know, SSG didn't include the Tomb of Elendil because it's only in Unfinished Tales. That would have been a plain overstepping of their rights agreement. So they haven't done that, right? But if Amazon only has the rights to the appendices, they have made exactly that kind of overstepping in showing not just the map of Numenor, but the names of the cities on the map of Numenor, which are only in Unfinished Tales, and other things that are only in Unfinished Tales. other names, I mean, that are only in Unfinished Tales. And that kind of thing, that's exactly the kind of thing that Standing Stone is always so, in my experience, always so careful to respect in their rights agreement. Not to use names and things. And here's another thing. Some people have been saying, if you have the rights, like if you have the rights to the Lord of the Rings, you can tell any if a name is mentioned even once. I've heard them say this on the OneRing.net. If something is mentioned even once, then it falls within your rights. That is explicitly untrue according to the terms of the old rights agreement. And again, this I know from firsthand experience of dealing with this. If something is mentioned in the text, but the primary story is told in a text to which you do not have the rights, you cannot tell that story. So the classic example of this is Beren and Luthien, right? Beren and Luthien both mentioned several times in The Lord of the Rings, right? But that does not mean that if you have the rights to The Lord of the Rings, that does not give you the rights to tell the whole Beren and Luthien story. Like, hey, we can do a whole series of a whole TV series on Beren and Luthien because we have the rights to The Lord of the Rings and they're mentioned in The Lord of the Rings, so we can do that. No, you can't. Explicitly can't do that because the Beren and Luthien is a Silmarillion story. The primary version of the Beren and Luthien story is in the Silmarillion, and you have to have the rights to the Silmarillion to do the Silmarillion stories. So you can't. You could allude to them perhaps, but you can't depict and adapt their story as a central story. Like you can't do it. You have to have the rights to Silmarillion to do that. It doesn't matter if they're referenced. So the idea that anything that's mentioned even once, like Orome gets mentioned in The Lord of the Rings, so okay, so we have the rights to the Valar and we can tell the whole story? No, it doesn't work that way. It never has worked that way before. But I'm wondering if that's part of if there are kind of, if those rules are changing. It seems to me, again, especially assuming they're telling the truth, which, okay, again, I'm not going to call them liars to their faces. If they're going on the record as saying they only have rights to the appendices, then I'm sure that's true. But if that's true, the nature of those rights agreements are clearly altered from what they were before. Yeah. Now, several you're pointing out, of course, like the cry of Orome, the minstrel skill, right? They can get away with the reference. This is a classic example, right? They can use the name Orome in that skill because the name does come up, so they can use the word because they have the rights to that story, right? But do they tell the story of Orome? No. Wait. Yes. Right? When they actually want to point to include Orome himself, arguably, in the story, do they call him Orome? No. Right? I mean, we have, like, the whole Huntsman quest line in Enedwaith shows you, right? That's the perfect illustration of what I'm talking about. The word Orome is not forbidden, right? They can use it. They use it in that minstrel skill, but they can't tell the story of Orome. Orome as a character is a Silmarillion character. You'd have to have the rights from the Silmarillion to. So what do? They tell a story about this huntsman character who is very like Orome, but they carefully retain plausible deniability, right? It's not Orome's story. They kind of hint, right? But it's not explicitly Orome's story. And that's Standing Stone having it both ways. That's Standing Stone effectively, justly, fairly, and with discretion and virtue, having it both ways. That is, both digging deep into the lore and hinting at the story of Orome without breaking their rights agreement, right? Without doing anything that's actually, like, illegal. You see what I mean by that? I guess it's the perfect illustration, but Amazon, in what we've seen so far, are going way beyond that, right? Think about that Huntsman plot line in Enedwaith, right? In theory, under the old rights agreements, that's the kind of thing that you can do, and they'll let you do that, right? I mean, they're not dumb, right? They're looking at this and being like, okay, wink, wink, I see this is like Orome, but they've stayed on the right side of the law, right? Because they've not called them Orome, they've not laid claim to a Silmarillion story, and they're not retelling a story that happened in the Silmarillion, right? There are a bunch of places where we can see Standing Stone in their quest lines and characters and things coming like right up to the edge, but not crossing the line, right? They've been very, very careful about that, and I've always really respected both the integrity and the creativity that Standing Stone has shown in how they deal with the rights situation. Amazon's situation seems to be different. Again, the inclusion of the Númenórean map with names way back at the very beginning of this whole process broadcast that really, really clearly, right? Also, have you ever seen in LOTRO like an instance where you get a flashback to Númenor with the 2 trees in bloom? Right, you remember that instance in LOTRO? No, you don't remember that instance in LOTRO because they would never do that, right? I mean, that is like Silmarillion territory that Standing Stone wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Unlike Amazon, whose very first still image release was of, you know, the 2 trees in bloom in Valinor. So, again, what they're doing, how they're doing things, demonstrably different from any other adaptation that we've seen. They're working under the approval, still, of Tolkien Enterprises and the Tolkien estate. So, fine. I mean, again, I'm not criticizing them at all, but what I am saying is, if they don't actually, before they said anything, what I was saying was, it's obvious they have the rights to Unfinished Tales. Well, if they're telling me they don't, then what's obvious is that their rights agreement is being implemented differently, for sure. Because in the old days, back in my day, we could never get away with that kind of thing. It's what I'm saying. So, I don't know. So, Tomas, again, I'm not calling them liars. I'm just saying what we are seeing, what is actually happening, is different than what we have seen before. Like, that's just, there is more straight up Unfinished Tales and Silmarillion stuff being utilized within the Amazon stuff that we've already seen than anything that's ever been done before. So, whether it's, how that's structured, how that's related, I don't know. But it is demonstrable. I mean, it's very demonstrable that we are getting stuff that we've never seen depicted on screen or in games before. And that's... so, yeah, like it's not business as normal. Howsoever the business differs, and I know nothing about the business deals, right? I know nothing about the terms of that. And so I'm not trying to make any claims about it. All I'm doing is pointing to the obvious and manifest fact that it's clearly not exactly the same situation. What is the situation? What are the exact details of it? I don't know. And honestly, I don't actually care very much. It's like the debating the rights and people talking about the rights, or all the stuff that is being released, all the stuff that is done by all the stuff that's done by by Amazon in this show has been approved already. Like, none of this is being done. Sometimes people talk about rights as if they think they're going to be getting Amazon in trouble and stuff, like, they don't have the rights to that. And it's like, okay, so this is nothing that's being released is going to be catching, the Tolkien estate on the hop here. They've already approved all this stuff. So, like, chill. And secondly, It's like, do you think you're noticing something the Tolkien estate is going to miss? Like, they actually know the text pretty well. Anyway, it's so in the end, I don't find the whole rights, especially, now that Amazon has kind of taken a stand, they're just the appendices stand. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. That's good. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as I've always known, the rights have been very secret. I mean, that was something that was being kept secret for a long time. And there seemed to, I don't know, but we'll see. But I'm still functioning. Like, what I'm expecting from the Rings of Power show, and I don't have any inside information on what's coming, but what I'm expecting from this, just based on what we've seen already, is stuff that is going to be availing itself of the other material in ways that we haven't seen before. So I'm functionally looking at Unfinished Tales and the Akalabeth and of the Rings of Power in the Third Age as functionally other source texts, because functionally that's what we've seen so far. So again, some people will be like, they said just the appendices, so if you're speculating based on Unfinished Tales, you're wrong. And I'm like, okay, dude, like, tell that to the map of Numenor. That's all I'm saying, but it's fine. I'm not bothered. One way and another, I'm not bothered. Okay, all right. Yeah. Now, I don't remember, Joahe, whether or not Standing Stone has the rights to the appendices. Maybe they don't. I don't remember. I'm trying to think of examples in the game. The first thing that I thought of was the Thorongil statue. Is it called Thorongil? Did they use that name, Thorongil? In Pelargir? Well, of course they did all the Battle of Azanulbazar. You're right, Drowsnake. Yeah. It's alluded to in the text, but they use the Thorongil name. Yeah, they must have. Then I think between the Battle of Azanulbazar by name and the use of the name Thorongil, I think that pretty much proves that they have the appendices. Yeah. And if not, then that would be another interesting example, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they use the name, they're so careful. I've never seen them do that. I've never seen them use a name that that's not in a text they have explicit rights to. Hard for me to imagine they don't have the rights to Appendix A if they're using the name Thorongil, which only occurs in Appendix A. When will we get Soviet Lord of the Rings online? Oh, man. Don't tempt me.
I will return to the city, but I cannot abandon the Blackroot Vale just yet.
Rovalang, how you been? I've returned with a message. Well, do not tarry in its delivery, for I have an urgent matter of my own. I'll return to the city as Lothiriel commands, but I cannot abandon the Blackroot Vale just yet. A great evil has come south, and I cannot leave the people of the Vale at its mercy. In form it took the shape of a great winged beast, and it flew out of the north, passing over the mountains. It circled over Erech for a time, and then passed low over Morlad. I think I know who you're talking about. I saw it only moments before you arrived, passing low in the direction of the mountains. Rovalang seems unaware of the nature of this evil, but you know it by the winged beast it rides, and have seen its kind before, Nazgûl. If this creature learns of Aragorn's passage and the army of the dead that follows him, so too will the great enemy learn of it. The Nazgûl must be defeated. Excellent.
You have heard of this winged creature.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see it in your eye.
I've seen a ton of them. Will you help me find it and keep it from harming the people of the Vale? You're not in agreement. If the Nazgûl learns that Aragorn commands an army of the dead, much harm might be done to the desperate hope that drives him and to the people that depend on him. Let us go at once. If you have a fellowship at your call, bring them along as well. I'm pretty over level. Ooh, it's a quest level 100. Okay. Well, we'll see how we do. It's an
It
instance,
is my
huh?
duty to face this creature. We will face it together.
We'll give it a whirl.
A great beast flew out of the mountains, and now I fear a creature of much evil stalks the Blackroot Vale.
I fear you are correct, Rovalang. And Arwen, yes, in the wedding they did talk about the kinstrife as well, right? That's what you mean, the kinstrife in Gondor, right? The Castamere thing. Yeah, exactly. Which also is even. Hang on, Castamere, another name, right? Castamere is another name for, only in the appendices. Eldacar is another name only from the appendices. Indeed, the majority of the statues in Minas Tirith couldn't have their names without the appendix. So yeah, no, it's plain they have the rights to Appendix A, Standing Stone. They must. Again, they don't play that way. They're very careful. So yes. Yeah. I do know that it is true, Yoahe, that there was the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings rights used to be slapped in together. It was like a unit. Though they were disentangled, they were separated. So, yeah. So it may well be that they lost the Hobbit rights at that point. But I don't know what they'd already made when that happened. But anyway, okay. Because my suspicion is that what they'd already done would have been grandfathered in. A cold sensation has gripped my heart. Do you feel it too? I believe we draw near to the creature I beheld above the mountains. Before we proceed, are there any companions on which you can rely? You're running to give me another chance to call a fellowship. We'll be fine. We'll be fine, Rovalang. Wait, I have to talk to you? I will succeed by myself. We can only depend on the two of us. May it be enough. Okay, let's waste no more daylight. Yes, let's attack the ring wraith in the daylight. More maddened creatures. What, you think the fell beast did something to the bear? See, we're fine, Rovalang. No, uphill. There we go. I'm gonna stealth myself. It's all the same to you. And I can still run faster than you even in stealth. Oh, there he is. Look at that. Just one bear, huh? By the King of Gondor. Ooh, what an interesting oath you just swore. He's got a saddle? What a terrible creature. Do you see what it bears on its back? What, a saddle? Yeah, I know, right? It's a saddle or I am a dwarf. Nice. Slip around it and find this beast's master. I thought you meant slip around behind it and stab it in the back, which I was oh. We're walking. Careful. Okay. We're walking. Well, I was sneaking anyway. Can't we slay it? I guess we don't. Well. Okay, oops. Now we're running. Here we go. Running. We must hurry. The Nazgûl has not yet learned of Aragorn's passage. Hope remains. That's the Bane of Rhûn! Oh, wow. Rovalang. Feisty. All places belong to my master. Very nice. You are the ones who trespass. I am the Bane of Rhûn. I go where I will. Who are you to deny? Yes, but you're not the... what's my favorite one? The Gloom of Nirn. This is Gryfflet. You can't see him, but he's here. a burglar of great fame and skill. Uh-oh. The Bane of Rhûn has heard of me? You are known to us. Oh, no. Rovalang is going to tank that. Whoa, dear. Okay, wasn't expecting actually full-out Nazgûl combat, but that's okay. I got you, Nazgûl. Oh, no. Hope you have. Oh, don't you feel humiliated? Bane of Rhûn. Oh, being cut down to size by a halfling who doesn't even have to stab you in the back of the knee. Oh, I've struck him a grievous blow. Oh, no. Sent back. Oh, he's got to do the waft of shame back to Mordor. Oh, yikes. Gryfflet is... yeah. Okay, I am regaining some health here. All right, Rovalang, I've never before been in the presence of such evil. Let us leave this place, and then we will speak of it. Woohoo! Oh, man. That was awesome. Just like toe-to-toe with a Nazgûl and took him down. I'm glad the fell beast didn't, pipe in there. Okay, Rovalang, what do you say?
That creature brings to mind a name from the ancient years, but I will not speak it.
Okay. I've now seen with my own eyes the servant of that terrible enemy. Oh, him! He who must not be named, right. The original he who must not be named. I think you knew more about that creature than you let on. I am glad you were here. My tale might have ended in the shadow of the haunted mountain if you were not, but we have both faced great evil and lived, and our tale goes on. The time has come to return to Dol Amroth. Lothiriel must be told. Yeah, agreed. Okay, and now I think that all you have is the interlude quest, which I've already done. Okay. Great, so now they're both sending me back to Lothiriel. That's just what I was looking for. Okay. Great. That was awesome. A little unexpected. This is a level 100 quest, too. It was only two. No, I'm not going to go after that warband, for crying out loud. I should just filter it out, I know. I'm too lazy. But... man, these stairs are so long, I'm just going to ride my pony up the stairs. What was I going to say? I don't remember. I've forgotten already what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. About being, like, maybe I don't have to start my leveling again. Was this level 100? This was a level 100 region, right? When Dol Amroth was the end of the line. It was still level cap 100, right? Okay, yeah, it was. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So I'm going to remain ahead for a while, but if I get up to the... as soon as I move past Dol Amroth, I'll probably kick it up again. Start leveling again, I mean. Okay, Lothiriel, I got a couple pieces of news for you. First, let me tell you about Jajax. You tell Lothiriel about Jajax in your journey among the Corsairs, ending in the defeat of the cruelest captain of all. An incredible tale. It sounds as if you have done much to aid us against the Corsairs of Umbar, who are totally not attacking the city, though I do not think much of your choice of friends. Oh, come on, Jajax is fun. I only hope that your efforts may keep us safe. Well, yeah. Ooh, reinforced gloves of the shore. Ooh, those are actually equipable. Okay, hang on. I gotta make sure to complete my set here, even though you won't be able to tell. First, I'm going to equip... Oh, you can tell. Oh, those are shinier. Which ones are these? These are reinforced gloves of the Great Shore, trousers of the Great Shore, boots of the Great Shore, jacket of the Great Shore, reinforced shoulders of the valleys. Oh, man. Yeah, and helmet says, I still have the shoulders. I need the shoulders of the Great Shore. That's all I'm missing. Otherwise, I'd have the complete set. Okay, I actually also want to equip them. Okay. Great. Oh, this is exciting. Okay.
My Swan
Whoa.
Knights have returned, and I thank you. But
Wow.
what is on your mind?
You tell Ethereal of your encounter with the Nazgûl in the Blackroot Vale. She is silent for a long time. When she speaks again, her voice is very quiet, the words not much more than a whisper. I remember the heat of summer on the stones of the White City. It was late in the month of June, and my father brought me and my brothers to Minas Tirith with 12 riders. He did not reveal the purpose of the journey until we were in the steward's chamber. I was to marry Boromir, son of my father's sister. He was tall and confident and a great warrior, and I could tell that he too did not want the match. But he was an obedient son and consented to the betrothal. There would have been a wedding on that warm night of June, but Boromir had a journey of his own to make, and it was decided the wedding would occur on his return. I will bring you a wedding gift, he said to me before I joined my father and brothers in the courtyard for the return to Dol Amroth. I will win this war and bring you the peace you deserve, he called to me. That's the mighty gift, you see, Boromir is going to bring to his, wife, who they both don't really want to get married. He called to me. I never saw him again. Lothariel's eyes are fierce, her mouth a thin line sharp with resolve. I did not want to marry him, and he did not want to marry me, but we wanted the same thing. We wanted peace and happiness for our people, and we were willing to sacrifice whatever we needed to achieve it for them. Our enemies have underestimated us. They think we are soft. They think we will give in to despair and give in to grief, but we will not. I spent more time in study than the archivist Pethabir believed. I know the name of the great enemy, the master of the foe you faced in the Blackroot Vale. I am not afraid to utter his name. He is Sauron, and we will stand against him to the last man, woman, and child. Gondor is not without strength. We will face the great strength of Sauron, and we will defeat him or we will die. There are no other choices for us. I will call for you. Enemies are everywhere, and we have only just begun to fight. Oh man, that was an inspiring speech, Lothario. Oh. So this jacket, not much of an upgrade. Maybe I'll go for the essences. Are those still useful? Enhancement limit 190? Wait, what? So essences are connected to the... That's part of the... Isn't the enhancement limit part of the new legendary system? How are the essences related to that? I'm confused. But, okay.
I know that further battle with the Corsairs is unavoidable.
Yeah. As ruler of the city, it is my task to defend the people of Dol Amroth for as long as I am able. To do that, I must learn what I can of our weaknesses and our strengths. May our strengths outnumber our weaknesses, as unlikely as that may seem. If you will help me in this, go to the wharf and speak to the captains of the ships. They will know the seaworthiness of their own ships and whether they might be made battle-ready in the unlikely event that naval battle for our ships in the harbor should be required. The true sea power of Gondor is harbored at the city of Pelargir, but that port is far to the east, and we cannot depend upon its ships for aid in time, because there is an outside chance that the enemy may be upon us sooner than anyone could arrive from Pelargir, though that is still an unconfirmed rumor. Okay. Talk to the captain of the ships. Okay, what do we got here? I got a tracery, enhancement runes. Let me do the enhancement runes thing. More. Okay, I've got 2 sets of enhancement runes there. All right, let me do the thing. Let me do the thing. I remember how to do the thing. I'm gonna do it on this. There we go. And what do I need? Backstab damage. No, look, I'm almost done with surprise strike damage. So which ones are these? Limit is 175, 190. Okay. So I'm going to do those. I think that's exactly enough to round that out. What? Oh, I only had 3 of them? Oh, come on. I'm 1 shy of maxing out my surprise strike damage. Oh, man. That's horrible. Okay, then these I will do this guy. Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. That's fine. I got all these traceries I don't really need. Okay. Okay, that's cool. All right. Well, I think I should probably go because I'm out of time. And this is a pretty good stopping place, having returned to Lothariel after my many wanderings. So I... let's see. Well, sorry, yeah, Dime, the sound is very soft. The game sound is very soft because I get all distracted. I turned it down, the game sound. Plus, I always hate it when I'm trying to listen to something and there's like loud music and stuff going on in the background. Anyway, that's personal preference. So bias is me. What was I doing? Not that. Oh, right. I was looking at... So, Book 2, Chapter 1. All right, so I finished Book 1. Right, there we go. Finished Book 1. That's great. So this is the beginning of Book 2, which is going... Because that, I presume, was the end when Dol Amroth was the end, right? So this is the beginning of the quests that are going to push me on to the next stage, right? Because I think we've pretty much done Dol Amroth, like the whole, like Belfalas down here, which means we're pretty well done with this whole region, I think. So it's on to Central Gondor next. Yeah, on to Central Gondor, featuring Pelargir. Great. So I think that's where we'll be next. We'll head off on those, and I don't think I have any other quests outstanding. Okay, the Western Gondor, Tarlang's Crown. I think I'm okay with that. I'm a completionist, but only within limits, within the context of this stream, because I do want Gryfflet actually to progress through the main quest lines. I don't want to miss any cool regional quest lines. Like, that's where I'm insisting on being a completionist, so just in case, I do all the side quests and regional quests. But when it's just like rep quests or, I do have some limits. Okay. But I don't think... Western Gondor, yeah, there would be more Western Gondor, like Belfalas quests, right? And I think I don't have any. So yeah, this is it. So I'll just follow the next time. I will follow the epic wine on, and then start doing the regional quests when we get to Central Gondor. So I believe that in my next stream, Gryfflet will be leaving Dol Amroth with great sadness and continuous affection, of course, in his heart for Dol Amroth. But awesome. Thank you, guys. This was a lot of fun. So I shall not be here next week, and I'm afraid to say my attendance is going to be rather spotty for some time because I'm going to be away next week. I'm going away with my family, so all my broadcasts are canceled next week. I should be back the week after that. Then it gets dodgy. I may even have 2 weeks in a row in March there. I think I will. But then I've got 2 moots coming up, and I might not be able to. So we'll see how things... I haven't finalized my travel plans yet there. But Tex Moot and Sunshine Moot are both coming up, Texas and Florida, as I'm going to be traveling to Texas and to Florida in consecutive weekends. So usually my moot travel necessitates me leaving before stream time here on Fridays. So there may be 2 or even 3 weeks in a row that I can't do my stream in the second half of March. So I'll be away next week, and then I'll be back. The next week. But I'll definitely be back that second Friday in March. So that'll be the 11th. I'll be back on the 11th. So 2 weeks from today. Be back in a fortnight. And then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, if you haven't gotten tickets for Tex Moot or Sunshine Moot yet, if you live in Florida or Austin, Texas, is where Tex Moot's going to be, you should totally, and you can attend our moots remotely with the assistance of Druid's Fire, who is our digital moot facilitator. So awesome. Thanks, everybody. See you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks for joining me, and stay tuned for Druid's Fire, who's coming up next. Thanks, everybody. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.